Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. So I did want to start today with a question that came in. We weren't live last week, and it came in right before that. I hope that this person is watching, or that they get an opportunity to see the podcast, because this one is devastating, Dr. Grand-Pichet. My 9-year-old son, who has ASD and DMDD, has been out of control for the last 3 weeks. We lost my husband, his dad, an absolute favorite person, to a motorcycle accident exactly 4 months ago. And my son's grief has been beyond words. Between us, his psychiatrist and I, trying to keep him from falling into a scary depression and him acting up, I think we may have messed up his meds and given him mania. He became hyper aggressive in the last 2 weeks and extremely difficult to handle. I am devastated that it had to come to this. I cried like a baby, prayed to my husband to help me to get through this, since I have 2 more little ones at home, and prayed to God to heal my sweet boy's heart. There's some place in here where I might have missed it, where she talks about that the police have had to come. She says seeing him be restrained and taken was one of the hardest things I've ever had to experience. This is a 9-year-old, you guys. Besides the trauma of my husband's death, I am feeling guilty, sad, and ashamed. And she clarifies, of myself and my parenting, not him. She feels lonely and absolutely desperate for a solution. I'm not really sure what I came here for, but I just know how terrible it is now to have your baby put into inpatient care at a psychiatric facility. This is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So first of all, hugs. But Dr. Grand-Pichet, I wanted to make sure we got that question in. Do you have any words of wisdom?
Yeah, sure, of course. And let me just first say hello to everyone. Hi, and welcome. And sorry that we have to start out with such a devastating email and question, but truth is, sometimes the stuff that we experience, and sometimes what you experience as a family dealing with ASD, it can be traumatic and heartbreaking. And so let's talk about this a little bit. So I hope this person is listening, or will come back and listen to the show, will hear my comments. The very first thing I would ask of you is to get in touch with us. Give us your information, because I know you're very worried about your son, and that of course makes sense. I'm very worried about you, and I want to make sure that you have support and help. And you know what you've gone through and what your son has gone through, and this is unfortunately a lot of times, Shannon, we forget about ourselves when something happens for our children, right? And it's always the first thing. And so for me, it's just a horrible, horrible thing that has happened for all of you in the family. And it's a trauma. And you are all going to experience post-traumatic stress and all the things that go with having had a trauma. Now, a lot of times people don't realize trauma is not just sadness. Trauma is a shock to the physical being. It is such a significant shock to you mentally and physically. I'm sure when any of our viewers, if you've experienced something traumatic, you know what I'm talking about here. You know, you hardly feel your own body when you go through something this devastating. And the bottom line is that process, when you're going through the trauma, it has a lot of ongoing mental repercussions, physical and mental repercussions, for a long time, until things settle down and you get support and help. It's a shock to your system. So let's talk about some of the things you should be doing. And I would say the very first step is to take care of yourself so that you can be there and take care of your children. I know your instinct is to go the other way around. Your instinct is to forget about yourself and to try to reach out and take care of your children. But it's got to be the other way, honestly. And the fact that you're son was taken in restraints and all of this, I know it's another trauma on top of the prior thing that you experienced, but he's not going to be hurt in that setting. And you and he both, everybody needs help, right? So what has to happen here is that you get family members involved, friends involved. If you're not already seeing a therapist, you need to see a therapist. If you're not already talking to a psychiatrist, you should be talking to a psychiatrist. These are the times where we need the help of medication, whether it is an antidepressant or some other type of medication that will help you when you're experiencing rushes of anxiety. And the same thing for your son, quite honestly. I don't know what medications he's on, obviously. It is possible that he would have been on ADHD meds, for instance, or something where if you give him too much, he will develop mania. But having said that, a lot of times with our kids, because they can't really express themselves, and I was just reading about a child who is on the spectrum, and whenever she goes to a specific location, it triggers memories of her mother, and she will ask about her mother who passed away, and it's just that particular location, and then she will start to cry. So sometimes our kids don't have the ability to have an understanding of things like, dad is gone. It was a horrible accident, but life has to go on. And they just continue to struggle with that. And so it is really, really important that as they're coming to terms with it, as they're coming to understand the ups and downs of life, or as they're even coming to adjust to the new life they have, that you help them with some form of medical help. And I know that a lot of parents are like, I don't want to medicate my child. Don't think of it that way. It's like Band-Aid, it's like when your child has a boo-boo, you put a Band-Aid on it until it heals. And we don't think about the fact that our minds, our mental health sometimes is so traumatized that it needs a Band-Aid to help heal. And then you can gradually start to kind of understand or cope with the grief and the tragedy that you've experienced. So I guess I want to just say that, please pay attention to your own needs. You should have no guilt, no shame about you as a parent. Those are always natural feelings that come when we see our children traumatized. Let me tell you, my children are all adults, and to this day, when something happens in their lives, I will go back and think, maybe I was too whatever when they were growing up. So we always blame ourselves as parents, and we always feel somehow bad about it because we can't take the pain away from our kids, right? But this is just a horrible thing, and you're all going to need a lot of love, a lot of support and caring. So blame and shame and guilt has just no place in this. Get people around you that can give you love, can give him love. Get some professional help, and we're all praying and hoping for you, and this will pass.
Absolutely. Parker has written in and said, grief is the worst thing you can deal with. I
Honestly.
lost my father at 12 years old. I just feel bad for this family. There are grief resources out there like camps and the like. And Parker, I'm wondering if there was a camp that was helpful to you, will you write in and tell us what camp so that we can let this family know? And Dr. Granpeesheh mentioned, please get in contact with us directly. When you guys write in on the chat feature on our website, unless you give us an email, we have no way of getting back to you. It doesn't register your IP address. I can't recontact you. So please feel free to write us at autismlive@gmail.com, or you can send it directly to me, s.penrod@autism-live.com.
Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.